In today's video, we're diving into one of the most fascinating periods in Western history, the Middle Ages. Often thought of as a time of knights, castles, and mysterious events, the Middle Ages are far more complex and influential than most people imagine. The Middle Ages, also known as the medieval period, is the second major chapter in Western history. It comes after the ancient era, which includes the towering achievements of civilizations like Rome and Greece, and before the modern era, a time known for its breakthroughs in science, technology, and societal changes. The term Middle Ages was coined later, during the Renaissance, when scholars saw this era as a middle or transitional period between the greatness of the classical world and their own time. The Middle Ages lasted roughly from the 5th century to the late 15th century, beginning with the fall of the Roman Empire and stretching to the dawn of the Renaissance and the Age of Exploration. Historians generally divide the Middle Ages into three key parts, each with its own distinct characteristics and developments. The early Middle Ages, also called the Dark Ages, began around 500 AD and lasted until about 1000 AD. After the fall of Rome in 476 AD, Western Europe experienced a period of political fragmentation and turmoil. This is often referred to as the Dark Ages because of the collapse of centralized power and the decline of urban life. During this time, the Catholic Church rose to prominence, becoming the main source of order and stability. Monasteries preserved knowledge and manuscripts from ancient times, while Christianity spread throughout Europe. The early medieval period saw the rise of various Germanic kingdoms and the beginnings of the Byzantine Empire in the East. One of the key figures of this era was Charlemagne, crowned as Holy Roman Emperor in 800 AD, signaling a brief revival of centralized rule in Western Europe. The High Middle Ages started around 1000 AD and continued until about 1300 AD. This period marked the rise of feudalism, a social and political system in which land was exchanged for military service and protection. Europe was organized into a hierarchy of kings, nobles, knights, and peasants. It was a time of economic growth and population expansion, with the rise of medieval towns and trade networks. The Crusades also played a key role, affecting trade, culture, and politics. These expeditions had a lasting impact on both European and Middle Eastern societies, fostering cultural exchanges. The High Middle Ages saw the construction of Gothic cathedrals, like Notre Dame in Paris, which reflected the architectural and spiritual ambitions of the time. Universities also emerged, such as the University of Bologna and Oxford, laying the groundwork for modern education. The late Middle Ages lasted from around 1300 AD to 1500 AD. This period saw both progress and challenges. Gothic architecture and art continued to thrive, but society faced problems like the Black Death, which devastated the population and economy. The era also experienced the 100 Years' War between England and France and the Great Schism in the Catholic Church. Despite these troubles, the late Middle Ages set the stage for the Renaissance, a time of renewed interest in classical art, science, and humanism. So, while the Middle Ages may be remembered for its knights, castles, and cathedrals, it was also a time of profound transformation that shaped the course of Western civilization. Whether it's the legacy of feudalism, the lasting influence of the Catholic Church, or the rise of education, the impact of the medieval world is still felt today. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the Middle Ages. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more historical deep dives.